Okay, welcome to the reviews for the Live 1 quizzes. This is quiz number 1. And the first thing we're going to talk about is front of house, or FOH. The FOH stands for front of house, and that is the sound that is going out to the audience. If you are the front of house engineer, that is what you're mixing. You're mixing the sound that the audience is enjoying. And then that may make you wonder, well, who else would there be? What other kind of mixing engineer would there be? And there is one who is the monitor engineer. The monitor engineer is responsible for the sound that is on the stage. And I find monitor engineer a more difficult job than the front of house engineer. First of all, because the front of house engineer is basically only doing one mix. The monitor engineer might be doing multiple mixes for the different musicians on stage, for the different bands on stage, all of those things. And those musicians on stage oftentimes are the people who are deciding whether you are hired or fired for the next job. So if you don't do a good job on the monitor mix, it's a little more dangerous, maybe a little harder, easier to get yourself fired. Okay, so the next person to talk about is the system tech. That is the person in charge of the entire PA system. A little more on the technical side, on how all the microphones work, where the microphones are, how they get to where they're going to go, how that gets to the monitors, how it gets to the front of house, all of that. The system tech is the person responsible for all of that. Now that person might work for the venue, they might come with the band, they might be somebody hired from yet another company that comes with the PA, right? If you rent a PA, you might also have to hire a system tech from the company that owns the PA who comes with you, even if you have your own front of house engineer or your mixing engineer or monitor engineer. They may not necessarily know how to set it up, how to run all of it. Anyway, but that gets to our next person. The in-house engineer is the person who works for the venue. And so if you are using the venue's PA system, right, like I said, these two people could be the same person, the system tech and the in-house engineer, right? If you're playing at a bar or a venue that has its own PA system and they have bands coming in and out every week, right, and you don't have your own person, right, that's probably the same guy or gal. Yeah, so it could also be in a larger space that you rent out. Or a promoter, I'm thinking, I guess maybe a promoter would have to rent out a large space that does not have a PA system. That in-house engineer may just deal with the electricity and where to put things and what those things are, not technically working. So you could have, right, an in-house engineer who coordinates with a system tech that comes from an outside company, how those two work together, set up the PA system, and then you have two other guys coming in, or gals, to be the front of house engineer and the monitor engineer. So, okay, and the last thing that I found interesting in this chapter was they introduced the idea that it is difficult as a working engineer traveling from place to place and working odd hours, that home-life balance can be difficult. That's something you really need to work out with your loved ones and family and how that's all going to happen. Anyway, very good. That's quiz number 1. Thank you very much.